Good afternoon. As the Dean of the College of Engineering, it's my distinct pleasure to welcome you here today as we recognize the College of Engineering's Fall 2013 Baccalaureate class. Thank you very much for joining us today. I'd like to begin by recognizing our platform officials. Who led the graduates today is Jane Dorman, Director of Admissions and First Year Experience. Thank you, and you may be seated. This ceremony celebrates an important point in the life of our graduates and represents the beginning of new challenges that will draw upon the knowledge and experiences that they've gained as students here at the University of Iowa. Our graduates are well prepared to meet the professional challenges and opportunities that they will encounter as engineers, and we take great pride in their accomplishments. So I'm going to begin by naming some of the accomplishments of this graduating class. 23 of these graduates completed requirements for minors. 19 received credit for co-op and internship experiences. 4 of these graduates were presidents of engineering student organizations. 2 of these students completed the requirements to become Engineering Grand Challenge Scholars, in fact, the first that we've ever graduated. 2 of these graduates participated in the Student Leadership Institute. 1 graduate was a lead engineering tutor. 1 of these graduates will graduate with distinction. 1 student will graduate with a second major, and 3 of these students have received honors commendations. Okay, in addition, many of these graduates have been actively involved in student organizations, while others have been involved in academic research. 1 of these graduates was an NCAA athlete. Many of these graduates have enriched the community through their volunteer efforts. Others have worked to fund their own education, and some are the very first in their family to receive a college degree. 3 of these graduates will receive their commissions as officers in the U.S. Army later this afternoon. We take great pride in our students who served in the armed forces, and I want to take this opportunity to invite veterans in our graduating class to stand and be recognized. And let's also recognize veterans in our audience today. Please stand if you're a veteran attending the ceremony here today. So I think you'll agree that this list of accomplishments and achievements is very impressive for a graduating class of 64 students. And I'm sure there's worthy accomplishments that we left off the list. So these accomplishments and academic achievements of the graduates build from the devotion of talented faculty. And this semester, the graduating seniors from each program selected a faculty member to be recognized today in the ceremony for their excellence in teaching and dedication to student learning. So faculty, as I call your name, please come to the stage to be recognized. In biomedical engineering, Madhavan Raghavan, who is unable to join us today. Eric Nuxel, Assistant Professor of Chemical and Biochemical Engineering. Wilfred Nixon, Professor in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Anton Kruger, Professor of Electrical and Computer Engineering. Yang Chen, Associate Professor in Industrial Engineering, also unable to attend today. and Albert Ratner, Associate Professor in Mechanical Engineering. So please join me in recognizing these outstanding faculty. All right, you may be seated. Each semester, a graduating senior is invited to give a commencement address, and today's speaker is Jacob Kirpus. Jake is an industrial engineer with an interest in business development. He was raised in West Des Moines, Iowa, and graduated from Valley High School. While attending the University of Iowa, Jake earned a second degree in finance. Throughout his career. It's my pleasure to introduce Jacob Kirpus.
All right. Can everyone hear me? We're doing good? All right, here we go. Every single one of us sitting here today has carved a unique path. A winding road which may have, at some point or another, consisted of long nights, brutal exams, and enough self-doubt to make us consider quitting. These experiences have helped shape who we are today, and because I cannot know all of these experiences, I'll share a few of my own. In elementary school, I found myself carrying my brown paper sack lunch, walking down the hallway, and between one step and another, the bottom of the bag broke out on me. In that moment, I was nervous, I didn't know what to do, and I was on the verge of a mental collapse. And then lo and behold, standing in front of me was a golden Hawkeye t-shirt. A second grader had come to help. And from that point on, my journey to be a Hawkeye began. 10 years later, what felt like a lifetime, I was a senior in high school. The biggest decision of my life was upon me. It wasn't who I was going to take to prom or what I was going to do that Friday night. Instead, it was deciding where I would be spending the next 4 years of my life. When I had narrowed it down to Iowa State for engineering or Iowa for business, it appeared that my options were limited, or not limited, but were clear. My brother and coming and meeting all the people here, seeing the sights, I fell in love again. Megan Allen had given me the confidence I needed that I could complete both degrees in engineering and finance, and saying that I could be able to complete. Still, my path as an engineer was uncertain, and if it wasn't for the speck of curiosity that made me follow the engineering group during orientation, you all would have a much more entertaining and smooth speaker standing in front of you today. I'm going to take this off, too. Although I cannot say how closely my journey matches your own, I am confident that these paths converge and resemble one another after our time spent at the University of Iowa. We have come a long way since that sunny August day, nearly 4 years ago, marking the end as know-it-all upperclassmen in high school and the beginning as naive freshmen in college. Everyone knows what I'm talking about, the time when it seemed every person you met came from a town you never heard of, or the classic all-encompassing, I'm from a suburb of Chicago. Recall your nervousness about meeting your first roommate, finding your first class, or studying for your first midterm. The obstacles discovered while attempting your first load of laundry without mom around to help. All the joys and difficulties of being away from home, many for the first time after spending 18 years of your life surrounded by everyone you know and love. You understood that college was synonymous with four-year party, but also that it meant stepping into the unknown, pursuing an engineering degree, and staying the course. However, this challenge also provided a guarantee that we, or at least I, was unaware of at the time. The unspoken guarantee that the Hawkeye Nation provided an unmatched desire to help others succeed. The amount of support, mentoring, tutoring, and assistance I received while at Iowa in all of its form, scholastic to financial, administrative to social, in every facet and at every turn, it was this support system that gradually was transforming me into be a better man. For all of the engineering tutors and TAs, thank you for your patience in exploring thermodynamics, circuits, physics, and the long list of others that have made us engineers lose sleep at night. Thank you to all of the administrators for your guidance, to the professors for your knowledge, and most importantly to the friends who kept my life in check and told me when I needed to go have some fun. Each of these moments is inscribed in and around the letters on the degree we have come to receive today. Moments that are as much part of the Hawkeye experience as a 70-degree, 11 a.m. kickoff on an Iowa-Michigan game day. Moments that may not seem as iconic as a Kinnick Stadium flyover, but are celebrated just as highly. It is this spirit that each of us will carry with us as we continue along our paths, into our careers and communities. For each of us graduating today, I ask that we celebrate and propagate this spirit as we progress. We live in an age when technology has reduced and eliminated the barriers of distance, enabling friendships to carry on. It is no longer matters where you are. You can call out to friends sitting around you today, and remembering that Hawkeyes always help. However, do not forget to reach out into the world around you, wherever you find yourself, because when it no longer matters where you are, it's easy to forget to take the time to appreciate the world in which you're at. Currently, we are in a similar position to where we found ourselves 5 years ago. Just as some of our friends in high school had their school lined up or their degree mapped out, now some of us have a job lined up and a new place to call home. For others, you may find yourself more open than is now, and still looking. It worked out once, and it'll work out again. Just as there were challenges and national crisis 5 years ago with floods, storms, and financial disaster, there are new pressing challenges today. However, those challenges of the past remain to greet us even as we celebrate the completion of our challenge in reaching today's graduation. There is always another problem to solve. We are engineers. It comes with the job description. We spent the last 4 years preparing, and now it's our turn. If you ever face an overwhelming challenge or task, remember your friends sitting around you today. Hawkeyes will always help. Whether the need comes in the form of a broken lunch bag or a more general, daunting call to change the world, a Hawkeye will be there. If you ever feel the need to leave your imprint on the world, start with something specific and go from there. You'll know you're on the right track if it scares you. I look forward to the stories of each individual's trials and successes, and I'm honored to be among you today. It's a great day to be a Hawkeye. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. Great job. And it's now my pleasure to present the Outstanding Graduating Senior Award on behalf of the Engineering Student Council. And this is a senior selected by the students, and it'll be a surprise here today when the recipient is named. So let me say a little bit about the accomplishments of the recipient. This fall's recipient is a double major in finance and industrial engineering, was a resident assistant, a teaching assistant, held a number of internship positions. He's deeply involved with the Iowa City community and has served in leadership positions for student organizations. He's obviously held in very high regard by his peers, as illustrated by his selection for this award. As you've already figured out, you've met him already today. This fall's recipient of the Outstanding Graduating Senior Award, Jacob Kerpus. Next, I'd like to recognize the honors graduates and the Grand Challenge scholars. Please stand after I've read your name. Kevin Cradell, a biomedical engineering major from Wheaton, Illinois. Kevin completed an honors project under the supervision of Edwin Dove. Jacob Kerpus, an industrial engineering major from West Des Moines, Iowa. His grand challenge focused on making solar energy economical. Andrew Maurer, a civil engineering major from West Des Moines, Iowa, his grand challenge involved managing the nitrogen cycle. So congratulations to you three. We'll now recognize Emily Warner, a biomedical engineering major from Winnebago, Illinois, who is graduating with the distinction for finishing in the top 10% of all students at the university as measured by grade point average. Congratulations, Emily. It is with great personal pleasure for me to introduce our commencement speaker today, who will give the charge to the graduates. Kelly Ortberg, the CEO and president of Rockwell Collins. Kelly received a BS degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Iowa in 1982 and has successfully combined a keen business sense with the engineering skills he learned at the University of Iowa. After a stint at Texas Instruments, Kelly joined Rockwell Collins in 1987 as a program manager and held various leadership positions of increasing responsibility over the course of his career. Immediately before becoming president, he served as the executive vice president and chief operating officer of Rockwell Collins Government Systems, which provides airborne and surface solutions to the Department of Defense. Prior to that, he served as executive vice president and chief operating officer of Rockwell Collins Commercial Systems, which provides aviation electronics and communications for air transport, business aviation, and regional airline market segments. He was appointed president in September of 2012 and was elected as CEO in July of 2013. A native of Dubuque, Iowa, Kelly Ortberg serves on the board of directors of the Rockwell Collins Good Government Committee, the University of Iowa Engineering Advisory Council, the Hawkeye Area Council of Boy Scouts of America, and First Tech Challenge, which is a robotics competition for high school students. He also serves on the board of governors of the Aerospace Industries Association, is a member of the Iowa Business Council, and the Governor's Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math Advisory Council. Mr. Ortberg is an inspiration to our graduates and to fellow alumni. Without question, Kelly has contributed toward engineering achievement, leadership, and service to society at the highest level. Today, we're proud to induct him as the newest member of our College of Engineering Distinguished Engineering Alumni Academy, and are equally proud to have him deliver the charge to the graduates today. It's my pleasure to introduce Kelly Ortberg.
Provost Butler, Dean Scranton, members of the faculty and staff, family and friends, it's a great pleasure to receive that recognition and to be here today. And to the 2013 graduates, let me just say, welcome to the club. Did they tell you about the club? I didn't tell you about the club. Well, the good news is this club has no dues. There's no double secret handshake to this club. This is the club of the world's problem solvers. And I think by now you know, as engineers, that let's face it, we make the world work. And you're now entering a new phase of your lives where you can take your experiences and you can apply those and make this world work even better than it does today. So it's been 31 years, as you just heard, since I joined the club as a mechanical engineering graduate. And to be honest with you, I can't remember who my commencement speaker was. But I do remember a speech that was given to a group of engineers right around graduation, and it was a speech given by Ralph Nader. And at the time, Ralph was a staunch consumer advocate, and among other things, a dogged critic of the automotive industry for the safety of their products. And I think Ralph can be credited for a lot of the safety features that we take for granted in our automobiles today. And while I can't remember the exact words that Ralph used when he talked to us, I do remember in detail the message, and I want to share that message with you all today. Ralph said, as engineers, you have the moral obligation to make the world a better place. You have the knowledge and capacity within your lifetime to make a profound change to the world we live in? Well, a profound change to the world was made about 110 years ago, actually last Tuesday, when two now well-known engineers unleashed the world of human flight. The Wright brothers had been engineering and fine-tuning what's now known as their marvelous machine, and that machine would rise above Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, as the world's first powered, piloted, heavier-than-air flying machine. And it ultimately changed the world forever. As the story goes, Orville Wright was behind the controls that morning, and his brother Wilbur was at the wingtip. And from that story, I always thought Wilbur was the smarter of the two. They had a 12-horsepower gasoline engine operating at full power, and they let go of that airplane, and it started to move very slowly, and after 45 feet, the airplane lifted into the air. That first flight lasted 12 seconds and covered 120 feet, about half the distance of the current 747 wingspan. And when the machine touched down to Earth, the race to fly higher and faster had begun. History has shown that the Wright brothers' dream of human flight created one of the greatest cultural forces by bringing together languages, ideas, and values throughout the world. Aviation would spark an age of globalization, revolutionizing international business and start to what has become today as a multi-billion-dollar industry. An industry that brings together leaders around the world, businessmen, businesswomen from around the world, and families here today. An industry that protects our freedom and brings humanitarian aid and relief to people around the globe, and has even taken the human race beyond the Earth's atmosphere into the vastness of space. Wow. Well, today, more than 1,100 graduates of the University of Iowa contribute to that vision every day at Rockwell Collins, with the vision of becoming the most trusted source of systems to ensure that future aircraft are safer, fly further, and are more efficient than any aircraft prior to that. And my guess is, because I talked to many of these graduates, is that each of these IO grads now know and has an idea or a perspective of what they might achieve and who they might become. And that's the big question for you all here today is, what do you want to achieve? Who do you want to become? What are your dreams that you're going to chase? What are the obstacles that you're going to have to overcome? And how will you be successful? Well, you can't possibly know the answer to that question today, but I'm going to tell you, keep asking that question, because what you're going to be surprised to find is the answers are going to come to you. There's no cookbook to this. I can't tell you what the answers are. They're going to be different for every individual. But I do think we can use the Wright brothers example that I brought up to talk about three important lessons. And I think these are lessons that are repeated every day by great engineers around the world. And the first lesson is perseverance. I think for your generation, this may be the most important lesson of all. Just as the Wright brothers overcame countless challenges to achieve their dreams, you too will face obstacles and naysayers who insist your goals are not achievable. The Wright brothers' first flight required years of perseverance, determination, and resolve. A full 4 years before that first flight at Kitty Hawk, they built a prototype machine, and they tested over 200 different wing types with various successes and failures. And they completed more than 1,000 unpowered flight tests before they got it right. In the end, they persevered. Well, as you enter this new phase of your life, you have to stick with things, and you have to fight the pressure and the urge to job hop before you've completed your mission or achieved your vision. While jumping to new ideas and new jobs may be exciting for the time, it won't serve you well for the long run. Whether you like it or not, you're going to be evaluated for how well you persevere, and in some cases, that just can't happen overnight. My advice to you is you think of your career as a marathon race, and remember that nobody cares and nobody remembers who won the first round or the first lap of that race. In my own career at Rockwell Collins, I spent the first 7 years in the same job, in the same job grade, and I got to tell you, at times I wondered about where was I going. But I never stopped learning, and I never stopped working on bringing my passion to fruition. And I think the old adage of nothing in life comes easy really applies in this regard. You know, perseverance is going to be just as important in your personal lives. Make a lifelong commitment to your partner and make it work, and that's the secret to true happiness. Okay? Perseverance. Let's talk about the second lesson. The second lesson is teamwork. In business, it's not about what you personally achieve, it's about the business outcomes that matter. In the global world we live in, there is no question that teams perform better than individuals. Superstars that won't work with other people have little place in this world of complex systems. The Wright brothers collaborated on a series of innovations and inventions as they pursued the ultimate dream. And in addition to their own ingenuity and creativity, they learned from others by communicating with people who tried to fly before them and by interfacing with people from different industries. In fact, their thirst of knowledge and collaboration led them to study marine propellers. And they were the first to discover that a propeller is, in effect, a rotating wing. In the business world today, you're going to find that there's these things called fiefdoms, okay? And I define them as a group of people or an organization who stick together and tend to isolate themselves from the larger organization. And they're more worried about protecting their own turf or keeping the status quo than they are about moving the organization forward. And they assume people outside of their fiefdoms are either stupid or have a mission to make their life miserable. Be wary of joining fiefdoms. Time and time again, the people who either break the fiefdoms down or learn to bridge across them are the people who are going to move ahead both faster and who are going to move further than those that protect them. Recognize that in most cases, it's not what you achieve in the organization, it's what you achieve through the organization that's going to really matter. Teamwork. The third lesson from the Wright brothers is vision. So you have to have vision. You have to know what you're trying to accomplish because you're going to have to take risks. Vision is about getting beyond the day in, day out drag and remembering and staying focused on that end goal. Risks will have to be weighed against reward, and that's where great innovation comes from. The Wright brothers had the vision of human flight that took them beyond their bicycle shop and led them to study these marine propellers and apply those innovations to the aircraft industry. Today, our nation needs people with vision. Make the choices in life that engage your heart as well as your mind. As Iowa graduates, you're going to have the freedom to choose, the freedom to innovate, and the freedom to pursue your vision. Each of you now has the chance to advance your chosen profession. Also realize, though, that history is replete with examples of where innovation has exceeded the limits of current technology. You're going to have to continue to learn. The propeller was replaced by the jet engine. The jet engine altitude limitations were replaced by rockets. Technology will continue to evolve, and you need to engage in that technology and enjoy the lifelong learning that technology brings. Vision. So let me wrap my comments with a few things to think about. This is something that nobody can take away from you, and you heard a little bit of it in the speech from Jacob. You're a Hawkeye. Hawkeyes have spirit, moral values, and a strong work ethic. They're known to be friendly and reach out a hand to someone in need. You're going to be surprised that Hawkeyes are everywhere, no matter where your life's visions take you. In one of my first trips to mainland China, I got an opportunity to walk on the Great Wall of China and see the beautiful, magnificent views. And as I was walking down the top of the Great Wall of China, about 100 feet away, I saw this gold t-shirt, guy wearing a gold t-shirt walking towards me. Caught my attention. And as he got closer, sure enough, there was the undistinguishable tiger hawk on his chest. And as we passed on the Great Wall of China, I just quietly said, "Go Hawks." And this great smile came over his face. It's the same smile that's on your face right now. It's the Hawkeye vision. Congratulations on your accomplishments here today. Do something for me. Thank your parents, because I got to tell you, I know this from my own experience. They're as proud and as happy as you are here today. Remember, it'll take perseverance, teamwork, and vision to achieve what you want to achieve. Then the only limits that are really important are the limits that you apply to yourself. I wish you all the best, and remember to engage your hearts and your minds in pursuit of your dreams. And I'm confident that you're going to achieve that Ralph Nader challenge of making this world a better place. And so my final challenge to the graduates of 2013 College of Engineering is very simple, but very powerful. And hopefully these words will mean a little bit different to you now that you've graduated than when you've heard them in the past. Go Hawks. Thank you.
So Kelly, thank you for those incredible words of advice. And it is indeed our pleasure to induct you into the Distinguished Engineering Alumni Academy. And we have a little something for you up on the table. Barry Butler, University of Iowa Executive Vice President and Provost, will now confer the Bachelor of Science in Engineering degrees on our students. Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Engineering please rise? Provost Butler, these candidates, having completed all of the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Engineering, are recommended to you by the faculty of the College of Engineering for the conferring of this degree.
On the recommendation of the faculty of the College of Engineering and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents, State of Iowa, I confer on each of you the degree Bachelor of Science in Engineering as qualified and designated. Congratulations.
The graduates may now be seated, at least briefly. We'll now individually recognize the recipients of engineering baccalaureate degrees. Provost Butler will join me in offering our congratulations to each graduate, and the graduates will receive diploma cover, I guess you'd call it, that when your diploma comes in the mail, you can proudly display it inside the diploma cover. Jane Dorman will introduce each candidate individually, and Jane is the College of Engineering's Director of Admissions and First Year Experience. She met most of these students when they joined the college and has mentored many of them through the years. Therefore, it's particularly fitting that she'll introduce them today as they receive their degrees.
Will the candidates for degrees begin to assemble on this side of the platform? We will begin with the candidates for degrees in biomedical engineering. Professor and Department Executive Officer Joseph Reinhardt will represent the biomedical engineering program. Kevin Credell, with honors. Kevin Cruz. Jordan Lindsay, with a minor in mathematics. Austin Mills. Thomas Noonan. Deval Patel. Sean Tavakoli. Blake Trimpey. Emily Warner. We will now recognize the candidates for degrees in chemical engineering. Professor and Department Executive Officer Ellen Guyman will represent the Chemical and Biochemical Engineering program. Chengshuan Guo, with a minor in chemistry. Eric Nauman. We will now recognize the candidates for degrees in civil engineering. Professor Wilfred Nixon will represent the Civil and Environmental Engineering program. Connor Burke, with a minor in leisure studies. Daniel J. Carroll, with a minor in mathematics. Christina Kraft, with a minor in art. Young Du. Mickey Halverson. Eli Jaspering. John Kakachek, with a minor in mathematics. Nicholas Persak Leach. Andrew Mauer, with university honors and a Grand Challenge Scholar. Preston Mills, with a minor in business administration. Kevin Shea. Paul Wittau. Zach Zarenko. We will now recognize the candidates for degrees in electrical engineering. Professor David Anderson will represent the Electrical and Computer Engineering program. Evan Altmix. Nicholas Batterson with a minor in computer science. Robert Drinkwater. Andrew Jennings with a minor in mathematics. Busuyi Johnson with a minor in business administration. Keith Rottinghouse. We will now recognize the candidates for degrees in industrial engineering. Professor and Department Executive Officer Andrew Kuziak will represent the mechanical and industrial engineering programs. Tunde Aranciola with a minor in business administration. Marshall Baber. Matthew Denny. Joseph Fazekas. Adam Heckelsmiller. John Junninger. Jacob Kerpus with University Honors, a Grand Challenge Scholar, and a second major in finance. Adam Suchecki with a minor in business administration. We will now recognize the candidates for degrees in mechanical engineering. Blake Bark. James Carey. Zach Carter. Chris Drulo. Calvin Fair with the minor in mathematics. Anton Grisheyev with a minor in business administration. Robert Hofer. Thomas Rayfield Hullabar with the minor in mathematics. Aaron Limoges with a minor in business administration. Ryan Livingston with a minor in mathematics. Victor Mahan with a minor in mathematics. Ian McQuillan with a minor in mathematics. Dode and Zambo. Tyler Owen with a minor in mathematics. Kevin Panzik. Chelsea Pence. Tejasvi Sharma with a minor in mathematics. Please join me in congratulating everyone for their hard work and accomplishments. It seems like just a minute or two ago that I met all of you as we began this adventure that we call Engineering at Iowa. I know I speak for others in the college when I say that we have enjoyed immensely the opportunity to spend these years with this wonderful group of people. I wish you all the best. Do keep in touch.
Now, graduates, we have just one more assignment for you. Could you please turn your tassels to the left side of your caps? You're now officially alumni. As you can see, we work a lot of opportunities to celebrate into the ceremony. So finally, I'd like to say that as engineers, you're equipped to make essential contributions to this nation and to the world. You have a responsibility to bring your talents, understanding, and expertise to bear on the problems facing the world. I hope you'll be guided by the highest ethical standards, with great respect for our environment, and a genuine commitment to human values. We wish you the greatest of success in your future. This concludes our program, and thank you all for joining us today.
gonna grab that for you.
Grab it like I don't want to leave it. Thank you.